Did Tesla secure a bright future for Rivian when it unveiled the Cybertruck that looks nothing like it's on the market right now, probably going to be for a while, and therefore Rivian is going to be by default pretty much the industry leader in electric trucks that look like regular pickup trucks. And now here with me is Eli Burton with his weekly segment Supercharged with Eli Burton to discuss this. And last week when we talked about the Cybertruck, he did not reserve one, so let's see if he actually did this. I reserved one literally within the first hour, even though I am not really sure if I'm gonna get one because I still don't get the whole design. But I figured, $100, what can go wrong? I've done it with Model 3, I've done it with Audi e-tron, so I figured, all right, I'll just do it. So that will be interesting to check up on that. Before I bring him in, of course, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV coming to the US and Europe in the next year and a half or so. I'm totally looking forward to that. And it costs $0 actually, or euros or rubles, to reserve one, and about 30 to 60 seconds of your time, depending how fast you can type. So go to the description of this video to reserve your Byton today and join myself and many other people who've done so already. All right, without further ado, I'm going to bring in Eli Burton of My Tesla Adventure. Eli, how you doing, my friend?
Alex, glad to be back on your show, man. Just recovering after a week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, me too. My voice, I'm either hitting puberty or my voice is also trying to recover from all the conversations during Thanksgiving. But all right, so let's start with something that we talked about last time. At that time, you did not reserve the Cybertruck. As excited as you were, have you changed your mind?
They got me. I ultimately have now reserved the Cybertruck.
All right. Well, okay. What made you do that?
So I went ahead and reserved actually a base model Cybertruck, although I think I'll ultimately upgrade it to all-wheel drive because I love having the dual motor experience. But I think this vehicle is going to bring a lot of value. And for me, I realized ultimately that I need a vehicle that it looks like it belongs on Mars.
All right, so you actually have intentions of buying it, because I just reserved it just so I can make my decision later, just like I've done with some other cars. But do you actually think that this might just be the car for you?
Yeah, and I'm actually going to make a full video about it because it took me a lot of thought to get there. Again, I was one of the few, especially in the social media community, who didn't pre-order one immediately just because. I didn't pre-order one because I've actually never pre-ordered any of the Tesla cars that I didn't intend on buying. So that's what took me so long to actually pull the trigger.
Well, I mean, I just also made a video about the fact that, reservations for Tesla, I feel like don't really matter. As a matter of fact, most of the Model 3 sales have come from outside of the reservation list, and the reservation list actually has kind of faded away, but who knows? So I figured, $100 doesn't matter if it's on my savings account or Elon Musk's savings account, whatever. So, all right, but you actually, I can see you in it. So I kudos. All right, but let's talk about something else. Obviously, the whole Cybertruck, hoopla and excitement is now settling down, and people kind of looking around and see what else is going on. But what else is going on is that, Rivian has been the hot topic this year. And, even though you're a huge Tesla fan, but much like a lot of Tesla fans, you are actually like Rivian a lot, have considered that truck yourself.
Yeah, the Rivian's an awesome looking vehicle. It's not one of the legacy auto manufacturers who've been tainted with trying to drag their feet with going electric. Rivian has some pretty good specs on the vehicle. It looks good. They're building ground up EV. So yeah, I would say all in all, from what we've seen thus far, the Rivian is, especially the Rivian truck's going to be a very impressive EV.
All right, but now, do you think people like myself actually have something there when we say that, if the Cybertruck looked nothing like it looks really now and looked more like a traditional pickup truck, and we've seen a lot of renderings of what Tesla design could be of the pickup truck, do you think this could have really ended Rivian, sort of took the crown away from Rivian, and I kind of put them in danger of not having good sales once they get out there and start selling their trucks?
I think that we got to keep in mind that had Tesla not done this super rugged, minimalist design on the exterior, that they wouldn't have been able to sell a base price at 39. Maybe the base price would have had to been 49. But either way, let's assume the prices were even similar. with Tesla coming out with specs that are substantially better than Rivian's top end model, and at a price point that is about the same as Rivian's starting price. Had it been a regular looking truck, I think that would have been a very big moment of concern for Rivian. Could have been something that ultimately, killed Rivian. Not saying they wouldn't have survived, but it would have really hacked their sales because, Rivian's the first real electric truck coming out that looks like a truck. And if Tesla's coming out was looking like a truck too, and it's coming out a year later, you'd have a bunch of people who might have been considering Rivian who would say, oh, you know what? No, I'll just wait for the Tesla to come out. Tesla's got the network, they've got autopilot, the price point's better, the performance is better, the vehicle, obviously it was going to look the same as Rivian, but had it been a normal design truck, it would even have that factor of there not being a reason to buy the Rivian instead of the Tesla. But now that Tesla did such this crazy radical design compared to Rivian and compared to what people are used to seeing for a truck, for a pickup truck, there's gonna be a lot of people who now are like, you know what? Nope, Cybertruck's not for me, but I do want to go electric. So yep, I'll spend the money and go for Rivian.
All right, but I mean, I know people think that it's the truck ended up being relatively cheap compared to what we expected, and other regular industry trucks, at 40,000, but because of its very simple design, but at the same time, the whole indestructible panels and windows and so forth, not only that costs more money, but it also adds some weight to the car. So I would have thought that would have offset the savings, if you will, that would come from the simple design. But I think you're right in terms of it might have damaged the chances of Rivian going on the market, and I think they're breathing much easier now that they see that Tesla, went into this kind of weird route, which I still don't quite like. Do you have a theory on I mean, like, obviously Elon wanted it himself, but there's also a strategy for the company, right? Coming up with a more traditional pickup truck would have probably guaranteed more sales. Would you agree with that?
Oh, totally. I think at least the very least in the mid, if not long term, yes. I think a more typical pickup truck would have guaranteed more sales. Absolutely. I think there's a couple angles here to this, and I don't think we can dismiss that Elon really wanted this vehicle. This very much looks like a car that Elon designed. Also, that I think this was an interesting brand move because like they've now created something that is so differentiated from anything else on the market. They've now got this thing that if it does work and if it does become popular, this is going to be one of the icons of the brand. Also, too, and we can't forget this, I really do think that they are going to make versions of this that are pressurized, like Elon said on Twitter, and eventually send these things to Mars. And that's not insignificant when you consider Elon's broader plans and that his Mars mission is really kind of his life goal and his life mission. So I think there's some elements that go into that. I do also think the fact that they were able to get these ridiculous performance specs at such a low price is coming at it from an angle that the other players aren't. So that may very well ultimately end up opening up a larger market that some of these other guys aren't able to tap into.
Well, the specs are amazing, but I don't think I think what they did there, and I think a lot of other manufacturers might consider that as well, and I think Ford did it a little bit with the Mustang Mach-E, is that they basically sacrificed the performance for the price, right? So far, all of this, Model 3 and Model S, they all have a great performance even at the lowest level. I've always got starter models for the Model 3, and my performance was great. But now with this truck, the $40,000 version is going to be what, 0 to 60 in like 6.5 seconds. They just say, hey, listen, if you don't need the performance, like, you can have it for 40 grand. And I think that's a smart move. Like, Rivian might consider doing that as well. Actually, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think now that Rivian sees the competition and where they're at and what the other manufacturers are doing, do you think they might come up with a $50,000 version with less specs and not necessarily a motor on each wheel? And do you think that's a possibility and a smart move for them?
So that's a brand decision. So Tesla did their design with this very similar to previous cars, that you can get a rear wheel, you can get an all-wheel drive, and now that the truck is going to have probably what will be the equivalent of the Plaid powertrain on what Model S and X will have, they're also offering a tri-motor and different size batteries at each level, obviously, and different performance numbers. Whether Rivian goes that route or not, I'm not entirely sure, because part of that is a brand decision, right? There's a reason why for Apple, for a very long time, there was only ever one iPhone. right? So that the product that was out, Rivian may be deciding to go that route in their vehicle, and the capabilities that are brought with the quad motor, they want all vehicles to have. But yeah, does that limit their ability to lower the price? For sure, because Rivian's advertising a base model and a top end model that all have the same motor set. Now, as a result, their base model has a lot more performance, but their base model is also 69,000, which is the same as Tesla's top end model. So they might need to, as they get more pressure from the Tesla truck, if ultimately it trips into their sales and the customer says, "Hey, we're willing to buy this car, but we buy at a lower price point," then yeah, they'll need to drop down. But I think it depends on Rivian's brand and if they want to just stay premium or drop into a little bit lower price market.
Well, I mean, they have to go premium. I think just like, any brand, as I mentioned earlier, is that, kind of has to come up with their first model being, relatively expensive. And I think, Rivian's doing the right thing because that's where, they got to try to be profitable from the very beginning. But, I'm still quite not sure where the where the marketing or CEO head of Elon was when he just, essentially decided to decline going kind of a mainstream pickup truck, which would have, I think everybody agrees, would have sold more models. Do you think something like, hey, we don't have, anywhere to make this truck on the scale of where the demand is, because we already have to roll out Model Y on that scale. Do you think that might have come into the decision?
I absolutely do think part of the consideration would have been how many of these vehicles can we realistically pretty clearly is going to rely on some new battery cells that they currently have in development, and how quickly they're going to be able to scale those batteries both for this car, for the Semi, which is going to have massive demand, for the Roadster and Model Y. I think they may very well made the calculation that this was the way to go, and that selling 1.5 million of these vehicles alone per year like Ford does is not something they're going to be doing in the immediate future, because their immediate goals are to do that with the Model 3 and Model Y.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think it's going to be important who actually comes to market first, Rivian or Tesla with this? Or because there's, is there any overlap of their target audience, or it doesn't really matter?
I think, especially with the radical difference in design, I don't think it matters.
All right. Well, I mean, this is definitely going to be a great year. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing, how different brands now attacking different segments now that, Tesla kind of, forfeited, I would say, not in a bad way, kind of, created maybe a new category out there and let companies like Rivian, and there's also Bollinger, of course, let's not forget. They were at the LA Auto Show, and I have an interview with him coming very soon.
Bollinger's does look pretty cool. It reminds me of like part military Humvee,
yeah.
part yeah.
Well, that's sort of even more of a competitor for the Cybertruck, except for kind of in a more old school kind of way, and obviously with a very premium price. And I talked to Robert about it during our interview, and I mean, he's been on the show before, like down to earth guy. What a great, example of the CEO. But so is RJ, and so is Elon. I've already told you, like, I've been really digging what Elon's been doing lately, as far as just his public image is concerned. So I'm just excited about how open this market is really becoming. And it's going to be definitely an exciting year. All right. Well, before we go, let the audience know where they can find you and follow you, and if there's anything exciting coming up, either on your podcast or maybe my Tesla adventure.
Yes, you guys can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/myteslaadventure, and also Instagram, where I'm most active. Probably the most recent thing, though, I've had happen on social media is we were both there at the unveiling. So we both got some great first ride videos. So if you guys want to see more about what the Cybertruck looks like, check out the video on Alex's profile. I also have one as well. But personally, probably the most exciting thing that happened for me today is I got back from my trip from Thanksgiving, and I found this had shipped, delivered. I've now got episode 2 of the Adventures of Starman, Big Oil Strikes Back, in my hand. So for everybody who's already pre-ordered, thank you guys so much. I will be shipping these out to everyone soon.
And this is like, partially sold out already.
Yeah. No, this is about 6 months in the making, and yeah, we've sold a lot of the copies of episode 2 already.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to my copy, because I haven't received one yet, and hopefully this time I get one that's signed.
And you'll get it hand delivered. I can promise it.
Ooh, excellent. I like that. All right. Well, listen, looking forward to that. And I will see you next week.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, guys. Well, so that's that. I mean, I think there is a very little disagreement here. And let me know if you disagree in the comment section that, Rivian kind of got its second wind now, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I probably, none of us really won the competition to be that tight. I mean, obviously Tesla is hard to compete, especially for an upcoming brand like, a Rivian that's just kind of trying to get on its feet. So I'm kind of excited that they're kind of staying separately. So, and by the way, thank you for those of you who are watching me live on Patreon, and specifically one of my new Patreons, Pete Glass. Thank you for joining my Patreon community. Listen, I am full-time YouTuber, and this is all I do, so I really appreciate your support. That's how I eat, essentially, my Patreons and my sponsors, so I really do appreciate it. If you want to join my Patreon community, go to patreon.com/e4electric. That link is in the description of this video. So is this one for our free VIP list, where you get bonus stories every Saturday. Boom, right into your inbox. The stories that are still very exciting electric car related stories, but we just couldn't fit them into this channel or e4electric.com website, so you can get it right into your inbox. All right, looking forward to your comments, and maybe you can also mention if you have reserved a Rivian or a Cybertruck or both, and which one you're more likely to get. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.